We're halfway through 2026, and the biggest book adaptations of the year haven't even come out yet. Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, the Haymitch prequel, Dune Messiah, Colleen Hoover's Darkest Book, and Robert De Niro in a serial killer thriller. Every single one of these is still ahead of us, and you still have time to read them all first. Here's your complete second half 2026 reading deadline calendar. Welcome to Before It Was a Movie. I'm Kelly, and this is your complete guide to every major book adaptation still coming in 2026. We're going in release order from this summer through December, and I'm giving you your exact reading deadline for each one. Some of these you can knock out in a weekend. One of them is 3,000 years old. Let's get into it. Let's start with summer, because your first deadline is only weeks away. The Odyssey hits theaters July 17th in IMAX. Christopher Nolan, Homer, a $250 million budget shot entirely on IMAX cameras, Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, plus Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Mia Goth. Let me be clear. This is the one film this year you do not walk into unprepared. The Odyssey is the foundation of basically all storytelling, and Emily Wilson's translation reads almost like a novel. It's genuinely a page-turner. You have until July 17th. That's enough time, but barely. Next up is The Dog Stars in August. Ridley Scott directing Peter Heller's post-apocalyptic novel starring Jacob Elordi, Josh Brolin, and Margaret Qualley. If you haven't read The Dog Stars, this is the quiet one on this list that might end up being your favorite. A pilot survives a devastating flu pandemic and lives at an abandoned airfield with his dog and a small plane, holding on to hope in a world that's mostly gone. It's spare, it's beautiful, and it's surprisingly tender for the genre. This is post-apocalyptic fiction for people who think they don't like post-apocalyptic fiction. You can comfortably read this before August. The Whisper Man drops on Netflix August 28th. Alex North's best-selling thriller stars Adam Scott, Robert De Niro, and Michelle Monaghan. Here's the setup. A widowed crime writer moves to a new town with his young son. The son is kidnapped, and the case has disturbing echoes of a convicted serial killer known as the Whisper Man. The writer's estranged father, a retired detective, gets pulled back in. This book genuinely scared people when it came out in 2019. It's a fast read. 2 or 3 sittings, and the dread builds on the page in a way I really hope the film captures. Read it with the lights on. Now we get to fall, and this is where it gets interesting, because 2 of these are not straightforward read the book situations. Practical Magic 2 releases September 11th. 28 years later, the Owens sisters are back. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman return, along with Stockard Channing and Diane Weist. Plus Joey King, Lee Pace, and Maisie Williams joining the family. Suzanne Bier directs. Here's what most people don't realize. The sequel is based on the Book of Magic, which is actually the 4th book in Alice Hoffman's series. After the original Practical Magic, Hoffman went back and wrote 2 prequels, The Rules of Magic and Magic Lessons. And then the Book of Magic closes out the whole saga. So you have a choice. Read just the Book of Magic before September 11th, or go full Owens family and read all 4. If you only ever watched the 1998 movie, the books are moodier, sadder, and honestly, more magical. The Love Hypothesis is set for September 23rd, 2026. Ali Hazelwood's book talk-defining STEM romance starring Lily Reinhart as Olive and Tom Bateman as Adam Carlson. The fake-dating grumpy sunshine story that launched 1,000 similar books. It's a fast, fun read, and you could probably finish it in a weekend. I highly recommend. Verity comes out October 2nd. Colleen Hoover's second adaptation of 2026, and her darkest, twisted book by far. Anne Hathaway, Dakota Johnson, and Josh Hartnett. It's a psychological thriller about a struggling writer hired to finish a famous author's unfinished novels, who finds a manuscript she was never supposed to see. I'm keeping this completely spoiler-free. Verity has one of the most debated endings in modern book talk history. Whatever interpretation the film chooses, half the fandom is going to be furious. The only way to have your opinion in the fight is to read it before October 2nd. Klara and the Sun releases October 23rd. Of everything on this list, this is the book where reading first matters most. The entire power of Klara and the Sun lives in its narrator, an artificial friend who observes the world with complete sincerity and incomplete understanding. That voice is the book. The camera cannot fully show you the inside of Klara's mind, so meet her on the page first. It's quiet, it's devastating, and it will sneak up on you. Deadline, October 23rd. And then we get to the end of the year, where the two biggest franchises in this entire video land back to back. The Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping releases November 20th. The Haymitch prequel, the 50th Hunger Games, The Court of Quell, with double the tributes. Joseph Zeta as young Haymitch, with Ralph Fiennes, Elle Fanning, Jesse Plemons, Kieran Culkin, Glenn Close, Maya Hawke, and McKenna Grace. Francis Lawrence, who has directed every Hunger Games film since Catching Fire, is back. Suzanne Collins published this book in March 2025, and it is arguably the most brutal thing she has ever written. It recontextualizes things you thought you knew from the original trilogy, including moments you have already seen on screen. If you read one franchise book before its movie this year, make it this one. The fandom that shows up on November 20th, having read it, is going to experience a completely different film. Dune Part 3 releases December 18th. Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya return. As of right now, it's scheduled for the same day as Avengers Doomsday, which the internet has already named Doomsday. December at the movies is going to be chaos. Here's why the book matters so much this time. Dune Messiah is where Herbert deliberately tears down everything the first book built. It's shorter than Dune, stranger than Dune, and it completely reframes Paul's story from triumph into tragedy. If you only saw the films, you think you know where this is going. You don't. It's a quick read by Dune standards. You could finish it over a holiday weekend and still have time to spare before December 18th. There's another one expected this year that doesn't have a confirmed date yet, which means your reading deadline is technically as soon as possible. Pride and Prejudice is coming this fall, Netflix's new limited series written by Dolly Alderton. No premiere date confirmed yet, but if your relationship with Pride and Prejudice is entirely the 2005 movie and the hand flex, this is your sign. The book is funnier than the adaptation has ever fully captured. Austen was roasting people 200 years before the internet existed. So, if you can only read 3 books from this list before their adaptations, here's what I would choose. Number 1, The Odyssey. July 17th is your tightest deadline, and Nolan in IMAX deserves a prepared audience. Start tonight. Number 2, Sunrise on the Reaping. The biggest fandom moment of the year, and the book changes how you'll watch every frame. Number 3, Dune Messiah, because everyone is going to walk out of that theater in December arguing about Paul, and you should be the person in the group chat who actually knows what Herbert intended. Every book I mentioned is linked in the description below, every single one in release order, so it doubles as your reading schedule for the rest of the year. Which deadline are you actually going to make, and which adaptation are you most scared they're going to ruin? Drop it all in the comments. Subscribe, because as each of these hits the screen, I'll have the full book versus adaptation breakdown waiting for you. Find me everywhere at BeforeItWasAMovie. Read first, watch second, judge always.